All right, cool. Let's give it a few minutes. Ooh, this rain is crazy. I ain't with it,
My,
man.
my godmother is hilarious.
Yeah.
She said, I see a dude with a spliff.
A spliff?
Not a
Tell her that's a Cuban cigar. That's what it's supposed to be.
right.
That's crazy, man. Well, tell all your family and your friends. Appreciate them, listening to the podcast and tuning in. This is great. It's
Right.
great. It's cool. It's cool. All right, we're gonna get it kicked off, Zan. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's make this happen. All right, all right, all right. Good evening to everybody. Good evening. This is your main man, Darius Nolan. I am a different echelon, Don Morocco, all that good stuff. On today's podcast, the I Am a Different Echelon podcast, we have a good friend of mine, the effervescent, the beautiful, most talented. What type of other words can I say? I don't know, but she is here today with us. We're very happy and pleased to have her. Let's all welcome Miss Zandrina Dunning. Zan, what's up?
Hey, how's it going, man?
It's going very well. Going very well. Happy to have you. How's your day going today?
It's going well. This rainy day, it helps for a lot of work to get done. So
Absolutely, absolutely. And once again, for you guys who don't know, we're based here in Charleston, South Carolina. Zan is also in the Charleston area, right, Zan?
yes, sir.
All right, very good. So anyway, she's a long time. Little background from our perspective. I met Zandrina probably 7, 8 years ago, maybe a little longer, through a mutual friend. Got a shout out, Damon Mazik. He kind of linked us up. We met on a music tip. Myself being a keyboard player and Zan being a singer. I think we did like a couple gigs back then before, and always had a good vibe with each other. Always respected each other. So she's here with us, and she has so many things that she's doing. But before she gets into what she's doing currently, Zan, can you please give the listeners a little background on yourself and what you got going on? Tell me about how you got started and all that good stuff. Give us a little, catch us up with you.
All right. So, well, thank you first of all for having me on the show.
Absolutely.
So I really appreciate that. Um, I've been doing music as long as I can remember. Like even in elementary school, grade school, I was on the choirs. I was doing talent shows. When I was in college, I majored in music industry. Shout out to South Carolina State University Bulldogs.
Go to
Uh,
Uggs.
yeah. So I mean, after well, actually, before that, I was singing with Focus, the gospel group here in Charleston. So I was singing with them. Then, while I was at school at State, I sang in a lot of talent shows as well. Opened for some artists for Homecoming. After that, I moved to Atlanta, continued doing the music. I was in for 3 years. And then I came back here, started singing, in a lot of wedding bands and doing the gig scene and all that, the restaurants and private parties and all that stuff. So now I'm kind of phasing away from the restaurants and bars and stuff like that, and just focusing on production and doing a lot of shows, in Charleston Music Hall. Shout out to the Charleston Music Hall, Charles Comedy. Just working with a lot of different people. Just doing what I do. That's never stopped. I
Right.
love it.
Well, that's good. Yeah, you're a fixture here in Charleston. First of all, you and I have one thing in common amongst a lot of things, but we have unusual names. So whenever someone says your name, it's like there can only be one Zandrina. But your name is here in Charleston a lot. You're very busy, and you're very influential. And I see you all over the place. Like I said, we follow each other, and I'm always rooting for you and behind you and whatever you're doing. And I remember even like last year, I think it was, when you did the Aretha Franklin tribute with Christian Smalls and all that stuff. You produced that as well. Man, those are great productions, and I was very impressed. Not surprised, but impressed. Like, wow, man, this is like professional grade stuff. And when you have somebody that's like, driven, that's what you actually expect from them. You expect, professional grade stuff. And so with that being said, performing and the bar gigs, that's one level, and then you go on up to the next level, the music hall and wedding scenes and things like that. Can you remember? I'll put you on the spot here. Can you remember your first, what you would call your big break musically here in the Charleston area or even abroad?
Wow. Um, I wouldn't call it a big break. I remember my first gig. My
Okay.
first gig in the bar scene. It was actually upstairs at Henry's.
Mhm.
Um, years and years and years ago. I think it was maybe 2000. Whew, maybe 2001.
Okay.
And it was with a band called the Mickey Baker Project. Shout out to Ben Bennett.
Right.
Um, we're still good friends to this day. So he put me on, and we did that gig. But I think that I'm still having a series of big breaks, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No.
All of my experiences touch me in different ways.
Mhm.
Between here and abroad. Because I'm sure 2017 I went to Africa. And
Right.
I got to with a lot of kids who were orphans.
Mhm.
They all actually they're not orphans anymore. They got adopted. 44
Great.
children.
Great.
44 were
Excellent.
adopted by one woman, and
Wow. An angel.
we actually stayed a true angel.
Mhm.
We actually um, on that compound, where all the kids were, and I got a chance to listen to them, and just hearing them, I had felt like in the bottom of my soul that this is why I do this,
Oh.
and that might have been the most full moment I've ever had in my life.
Mhm.
Everybody says, "Oh, I'm so full, I'm so full." That was an experience that I'll never ever forget. So if you want to, talk about breaks,
Mhm.
maybe that's a big break, within, you know what I mean? That spirit, that soul fulfillingness, you
Right.
know. So, but yeah, everything I do is great. I love it.
Yeah, and you talked about big breaks. One of the things that I think sometimes performers, I say, musicians or whatever you want to call us, we take for granted. We get up on stage, we sing, we play, and people clap, and then we get paid and we get a tip, and then we go home and we do it all over again the next night. But when you can
Mhm.
actually go abroad and go out of the country, get out of your typical element, your local element, and see people who are not just in need, but like they're going from meal to meal, and you can put smiles on their faces through music and make them feel happy and just give them something to get away from their typical life, and that typical situation. It's really very very important that you appreciate that. And I can understand when you say you had like a fullness, like you were like, oh my god, I just can't believe that I've affected these people in this way. And that's what it's really all about. I never sit behind the keyboard or the organ or whatever, or behind the microphone and take it for granted, because the abilities that we've been blessed by God with, people wish they can do that. They wish they can do this. You know what I'm saying? And so it's very important that we appreciate those moments, and we continue to go forward and to try to affect people's lives in positive ways. And I remember starting the Lavish Sound. I'm like, man, I just want to affect people's lives in a positive way. It's never been about the money for me. And it's important that you have that right motivation, which is going to lead to my next question. So when you get up in the morning, are you thinking, or whatever the case is, like what motivates you? What motivates you to push? Tell us what motivates you.
Thinking and thanking,
Hmm.
thinking about everything that I've done that's led up to the point, of waking up, whatever it is,
Hmm.
and just thanking God for everything, and just reflecting, on that, having a spirit of gratitude, of consistent gratitude, even for the little things, keeps me going. You
Hmm.
know, my daughter London is one of my biggest cheerleaders.
Hmm.
She motivates me like no other. kids are something else. They are truly God's gift. And for me to wake up every morning and say, I'm not just doing this for myself. I'm not just doing this for the people that I'm, doing it for, the listeners. I'm
Right.
doing this, and that that feeling alone just keeps me going, keeps me trying to think of new ideas, think of new innovative things and ways to affect people. And especially in the times that we're living in now,
Mhm.
these unprecedented times, you're having to, think in an unprecedented way, in a way, you know what I mean? Just being creative on a different level.
Right.
So having my daughter here, um, just getting feedback from other people,
Yeah.
all the time, things that we do, it fuels us,
Mhm.
it keeps us going. So a mixture of all that stuff, the gratitude, thanking God for the purpose, our purpose in life, and just being able to wake up every morning doing what we love to do. There's no greater feeling. you know
That's exactly right. And I see that you're doing something with kids. I think something you did this past weekend or Monday. You were in the studio, something like that, with some kids. Yeah, can you speak
yeah,
on that a little bit?
absolutely. Shout out to Industry Direct Models and Talent, Nina Nesbitt. um, I've been working with her for about 7 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And Nina is, she's like a mother agent to all these kids.
Right,
You
right.
And she puts people on. She takes them to LA. She takes them to New York.
Mm-hmm.
She takes them to Atlanta. They have experiences where they get in front of different agents and people in the industry, and they get their break. They get their big break, and I'm blessed to be a part of that process. So
Right, right.
what I did this past Monday with them, they recorded their demo.
Oh.
So I was working with them, leading up to that moment, doing some vocal coaching with them, helping them choose their songs that they would record.
Mm-hmm.
Some of are singer songwriters, so they did original material.
Oh.
So it's beautiful just to be a part of a young person's life, who wants to try to get where they see that you are,
Right, right.
and being able to provide the tools that they need to succeed. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
that hunger, that fire, you can't
Mm-hmm.
beat that. Beautiful.
Yeah, and that's good. One thing that we have to also and always keep in mind is that people are looking at us, and not just our peers, but kids as well. Like you have a daughter, and last week I had my brother on who runs a program in New York that empowers Black and brown boys, and he always teaches them to follow people who are going or are where they're going, where they want to go. You know what I mean? So in this case of what you're talking about, these young people see you and they see that you're successful. And it's very important. Like I know that we're all human and we do have fallacy. But at the same time, we need to be mindful of the things that we say. And even now with this social media world, the things that we post. We have to be very careful of all kinds of things. And it's amazing because this has become such a cosmetic world. There's so many syndromes that are associated, psychological issues associated with not being accepted on social media, that children, your daughter's age, a little older, are suffering, like they didn't like my picture, or whatever the case is. So we always have to empower them and show them, listen, you can go forward, you can be successful. You have to do it the right way, but you can get exactly what you need. And even like moving on studio wise, I know that you're also doing something, the potluck series, that you have going on. Where I think my band's going to be a part of it later on this month. So very excited about that. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. I'm giving so many shout outs, but I have to,
Yeah, yeah,
shout out to BJ Brown, Southern Wave Media.
right,
um, BJ had an idea. He's the brains of it, and I reached out to him. I was like, hey, BJ, do you need any help? You
right,
know?
right.
Um, so I always like to offer, my assistance wherever I can, especially if I feel like I can enhance. And
Mhm.
BJ had no problem, saying, well, hey, I really don't feel like booking bands,
Yeah,
so if you want to
right,
book the bands,
right, right. You
you're
sound
going
like
to,
BJ too. He'll say just like that.
yeah, 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 yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was like, if you want to, book the bands, I definitely would give that to you. So I was like, that's perfect because I have a lot of relationships with different people. So I help out with the marketing. I'm there every single time, when we go live with
Hmm.
the band. I'm working with them if they need photos. Like we had a couple of artists who didn't have really nice professional photos. So I took my little iPhone and I took some pictures of them, but people would never know, because the quality is so important,
No doubt.
especially these days. You can people like you said, people look at you,
Mhm.
and they're very judgmental, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
at the same time, it's like, if we have different standards, we have to set a standard for ourselves,
Right.
and we have to directly influence people, and lead by example,
Hmm.
and I'm a firm believer of that. So, and I have no problem, and people know that I always come from a place of love,
Right.
when I may correct somebody, or if I say, hey, I don't think these pictures are going to work. Let's do some really good stuff, and they're always appreciative.
Right.
And I don't ask for anything, for it, because I know that that gratitude will just come out of the product,
Right.
that feeling. So yeah, so I work with him on that. We have season 2 coming up. Season 1 was amazing.
Yeah.
Um,
Good.
ended it with a bang with Charlton Singleton. Shout out to Charlton,
Mhm.
Grammy Award winning, from Ranky Tanky. So
Thank you. Yeah, from Charleston.
we did that. We had 12 bands. We had 12 artists. So we're coming back with season 2 in the beginning of October, and we're gonna do things a little bit different this time. We're not gonna do it live. We're gonna do it pre-recorded.
Mhm.
So that'll give time for the bands to feel really, really good, 100% about their performance, and you don't have to worry about those live jitters.
Right. Right.
Um, so I'm excited for your band, Last Sounds, to be a part of it
Yeah.
as well.
Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
having us. And we definitely appreciate that. And we were joking before we started the live broadcast. So we recall the time. I think we were, now to think of it, Z, we were with Kelly Sanchez. Kelly
Okay.
Sanchez at the Purple Buffalo. She had like a CD release, and you took a picture with the lavish sound, and you were like, Darius, man, your lens is dirty. Clean off your lens. And I was like, oh man. So you're always thinking about that. And I'm like, I'm not thinking about that kind of stuff. But you're right. Appearance is very important. And I always say, I'm not going to go to a barber if his head is nappy.
Mm,
If
there you
his hair is
go.
nappy, he can't cut my hair. I know
There
my
you
hair looks the best right now. I'm going on Friday. But anyway, my point is that I'm not going to do that. Invest in someone who doesn't invest in themselves. So, again, it's very important, man, that you continue to be an example. And I'm not sure if you can see this, Zan, but your daughter is she is chatting in, and
Oh, London.
she says, "Hey, mommy, this is London. I'm so
Oh,
proud of you." And that's
oh,
what she says. So that's good. Shout out to London. She's such a sweet girl.
she
Um,
is. And
and
she's a G. She goes with me everywhere. Like
right,
rehearsals,
sure.
performances. She's right backstage sometimes.
Yep.
Sometimes I pull her on stage.
Yep. Yep. And that's good because she needs to see that. I mean, even if she doesn't take a career in entertainment, so to speak,
Yeah,
she
that's
won't have.
my dance.
Yeah, I saw her, man. She was the next Alvin Ailey person.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So
Absolutely.
definitely. So let's talk. Let's talk a little music. Give me some of your influences. Who influences you musically?
Wow. I'm trying to figure out if I should start on the local level and then move to the national, international recording artists.
This is
Um,
your show. You sway it how
let's
you want
see.
to sway
A lot of people that I've worked with are my influences.
it. Right.
I adore Kiana Parler.
Hmm.
I've been working with her, well, just chatting with her. I guess you
Hmm.
can. We've done a couple of shows together in the past as well, but
Right. Right.
chatting with her, just business stuff, stage stuff, just all kinds of things, little tidbits that she'd give me, and seeing them on that stage win that Grammy. My mom,
Right.
anybody who saw, I think I posted it on Facebook because I was
Mhm.
just so proud of them. But
Yeah.
my reaction, I felt like I was on the stage,
Right. Right.
so as a group, they really influenced me, and show me where I can go. And
Mhm.
Charleston, put Charleston on the map, even more than it already is, because
Right.
Charleston, been on the map for a little while,
No doubt.
with artists that have come out of here. But for them to still be here, rocking and representing the Low Country, I love them.
Hmm.
Um, Gino Castillo, he's also a big influence of mine. He goes above and beyond all the time. He actually took me to Cuba with him,
Oh,
um,
great.
years back. So I got to experience that lifestyle and that culture. Got to
Hmm.
perform there. For the people. Hopefully, we'll be able to go back and once things kind of get back to normal, whatever that is.
Yeah, right. True.
So Gino's a big influence of mine. Um, God, I wish I could name so many different people.
Yeah, no, I mean, take
Um,
it. Let's do
so many
some
different.
national people. More so
So
now.
Jill Scott. Jill Scott's definitely somebody that influences me hugely.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We're still working on that tribute.
Right.
Hopefully I'll be
Can't
able
wait
to do
for it.
a tribute to Jill Scott pretty soon.
Right.
Um,
Oh, you did that way. Before you go on, I got to say something to you.
mhm.
What was the name of the thing you did at the Charleston Poorhouse? I'm sorry, Z, I can't remember the name of it. You did it, I think, two or three of them.
Yeah, I did a tribute to soul icons.
Right.
So
And you saying "He Loves Me"? Was that what you're saying?
yeah, I sang a few Jill Scott
Right.
songs. I sang like 4 or 5. But
Hmm. Hmm.
we did a tribute to Jill Scott, Aretha Franklin, Sade, and Shaka Khan.
Right.
So
Right.
it was myself, Christian Smalls, Aisha Kenyetta, and Shanika Townsend.
Right.
So
Mhm.
I'll never forget that moment. I don't want to deviate too far, but
Good.
we were backstage in the green room, in the green bus, I will say. Charleston, the poorhouse has a bus as a
Yeah.
green, not greenhouse, but green room.
Yeah.
Um, but we were back there and we could just hear people, and we were like, wow, I wonder if it's packed out there. We walked out there on that stage. We were like, oh my God, this is amazing. The audience there was so many people, and we had so much fun that night,
Right.
you know, and that really catapulted me to want to do more tributes and just, have more of my people involved. So
Hmm. Hmm.
I influenced them, they influenced me,
Yeah.
we just build each other.
Hmm.
It's Charleston is a big family of musicians for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I remember that night. I think you posted it on Facebook or something like that, or Instagram. I don't remember, but I came out and I was actually early, and I had to sit almost like outside. It was completely packed. Yeah, and I remember you singing. I remember, but the thing that sticks in my head was I heard Christian for the first time. I never heard it before.
Really?
And I'll tell you what happened. Shout out to my friend Stephen Washington, one of the coldest keyboard players around. Uh,
Facts.
he started playing the intro to one of my favorite Aretha Franklin songs, "Until You Come Back to Me." And I was
Mm.
like, "Who was about to sing that song?" And I looked, and it was this this person. I was like, "Man, who is that?" And she smashed, and I was like, "Whoa!" So that kind of got me, I was like, "Oh man, I got to continue to come out and support what Zan is doing." Simply because you have good products, and
Thank
that's why I have you on today, because I think that you need to be recognized for what you're doing, and
thank
we have to support each other. And but I cut you off to take you down memory lane with that particular event. But you were saying that you appreciate Jill Scott. Who
you.
else do you appreciate?
I appreciate Jill Scott. I appreciate Aretha Franklin,
Mhm.
Layla Hathaway,
Yeah.
um, Ella Fitzgerald, Sarah Vaughan, all those classic artists of our time.
Hmm.
Stevie Wonder,
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Michael
Still,
Jackson,
still the
you
man.
know,
Right. Right.
Quincy,
Right.
mm, all
Yeah.
those people. I want to say real quick, you brought something up just now.
Okay.
That's something that was your first time hearing Christian.
Hmm.
Because you just assume everybody's heard Black Diamond sing.
Right.
Everybody in Charleston's heard Black Diamond, but that was definitely a few years back. But
Yeah.
that night, that kind of fueled something because she did, Aretha Franklin, and I came to her a couple years later, which was last year, and I
Mhm.
was, Aretha wasn't, she was sick, she was on the decline, unfortunately,
Right,
um,
right.
rest her soul,
Mhm.
and I came to her and I was like, let's do an Aretha tribute, a
Mhm.
full out Aretha tribute, the wigs, the hair,
Hold
the
on.
wardrobe, everything,
Mhm.
and that show was just, she always says to this day, shout out to Christian, she
Mhm.
always says to this day that moment is something that she'll never ever forget, and that was that moment for her,
Mhm. Right, right.
um so to hear her say that and to know that I had a lot to do with that,
Mhm.
and I was pretty much responsible for that,
Right,
that fills me up too,
right.
moments like that, you can't beat it. So I just wanted to say that real quick.
No, no, it's fine, and we're flowing in conversation, let me add to that. So right along the time when that happened, I think I was there because I was just about to, what the lavish sound with my band is kind of funny. I tell this story to some people. I had no intention of doing it. Somebody approached me about starting a band or playing in a band, and I was like, sure, I don't want to be in charge of it. I just don't want
Mm,
to play the keyboard. I don't want to be in charge. I don't want to sing. I don't want to do nothing but come to rehearsal and play and make my little change. And I guess God had it a different way. And so I was coming out just to kind of see, what was out there, so to speak. Not to judge or anything, but
mhm.
I come from the church background, so I play hymns and I play, praise and worship and stuff like that. So I was just educating myself. And when I heard her, I couldn't believe it. And I know she probably doesn't want me to tell this story, but the next day I was in her DMs on IG, and it wasn't, it wasn't nothing like that. But I was like, first of all, who are you? You sound great, and where can I hear more of you? And she was like, oh, thank you for the compliment. I'm at the Commodore every Tuesday nights. I'm coming. And when I got to the Commodore that following Tuesday, she was like, hey, thank you so much for coming. Very, very nice to me. Shout out to the rest of her band, Sheldon Desessor, Tony Colbin, whoever else she uses at times.
Yeah,
But anyway,
my
that
teams,
yeah,
Greg Loney,
Greg
Stephen
Loney, yeah, man, Steven Washington, the whole nine, anybody, but those guys I know from the church circuit. So they were like,
Watson.
oh, hey man, good to see you, yada 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 yada. But even in like getting material for our band, she's like, hey, just sing these songs. So for
Wow.
like the first probably 5 or 6 gigs, we sang all the Black Diamond sets, all whatever we could do. We just did it, because I didn't know what else to do. But she was always so very nice to me, and you were very nice to me. You are very nice to me. You guys are both very nice to me. And that meant a whole lot. And the reason I brought that up is because one thing that artists struggle with, and I'm just going to say it publicly because I don't care, we struggle with jealousy. If we
Mm,
see somebody that's doing what we thinks that we should be doing, or they play better, but they, oh, they ain't that, they ain't all that. Like that's ridiculous, and iron needs to sharpen iron. And it's funny you mentioned that the night where she sang that song that I was telling you about, because I had a conversation with Steven just maybe like a month and a half ago at the barbershop. And he
mm.
talked about that. He talked about that. And when you talk to him again, he'll tell you that's what happened. He and I were talking about that very situation with her singing that song, which ended up leading to the tribute to Aretha Franklin. And actually, that's coming up again soon, right?
Yes, it is October
Plug that,
16th.
plug that, plug that. Go ahead.
Yeah, October 16th. In conjunction with the Charleston Music Hall again, they're putting on a outdoor series
Hmm.
at
I think you broke up a little bit
outdoor.
there. Yeah, yeah. Start over. Where's it going to be again?
I'm back now. Sorry about that, y'all.
It's okay. It's okay.
So October 16th,
Hmm.
Charleston Music Hall is putting on an outdoor concert series at the Bend, over
Hmm.
there on Azalea Avenue near
Right.
Cosgrove Ave.
Hmm.
It's a beautiful outdoor area, perfect
Hmm.
for social distancing.
Right.
October 16th, we'll be
Hmm.
putting on the Aretha Franklin tribute again. This will be our third time doing it. So we're
Yeah.
no, actually the fourth. Our
Hmm.
fourth show. First time was the Charleston Music Hall, then the Piccolo Spoleto finale,
Hmm.
then Forte Jazz Lounge. Now we're doing the Bend. So we're excited about that. And the concert series is called Around the Bend.
Right.
So definitely get your tickets, charlestonmusichall.com,
Right.
October 16th.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be in attendance. And I want you to plug that because you have so much going on. And I'm just so proud of what you're doing and so proud of how you're influencing people. And I was asking you about your influences in the music world. But tell me who influences you, how would I say, in the play world, drama? Like, do you have any influences in that world?
Hmm. I've had a lot of influences along the way, actually.
Right.
Shout out to Patton Day Slater Productions, who I work with in conjunction, with them on the Southern Discomfort play that made its debut this past January at the
Hmm.
Charleston Music Hall.
Right.
Monica Patton is uh, she's a bad woman. She's amazing.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, so she definitely influenced me. She is the writer of the play,
Right.
Southern Discomfort, and it's about an old money family. Just in case anybody was wondering, old money family out of New Orleans, Louisiana. There's a lot of drama, comedy, um, and look out for that. They're actually going to be in New York pretty soon. So we just wrapped up the album for that. The demo album. So Black Noise actually recorded that. So shout out to Black Noise.
Hmm.
Um, Felicia Fields also. She actually starred in the play. She's an influence of mine now as well.
Hmm.
Her name might sound familiar. She was the first Miss Sophia from The Color Purple on Broadway.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so she did that, and she's an amazing woman. A go getter. Um, you know, all kinds of different women. Debbie Allen, Felicia Rashad. Oh, those women really, really influenced me and have influenced me for a while. So,
Yeah, I'm glad you brought those names up because this is the age of the woman and it's the age of the black woman.
mm,
And one of the things that we cannot avoid is number one, the coronavirus, but
mm,
number two, the presidential election. And there is an African American woman that's running with Joe Biden by the name of Kamala Harris, senator out of California. Uh,
hmm.
I understand that she is an AKA, and as are you. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So tell me, not necessarily about her. You can speak about her if you'd like to. But, in this day and time where, women are starting to be recognized and more appreciated for their work, tell me what that means to you. And tell me how this may affect you. Should she win, with Biden, and then maybe run for president next go around? Who knows? So tell me what your feelings on her and just black women, Michelle Obama, just talk about it.
Well, I guess I could start with mentioning historically black colleges and universities.
Please.
Because those outlets really offered an opportunity for black women to join together. In
Mhm.
sisterhood, um, which would be the sororities. Delta Sigma Theta, Alpha Kappa Alpha, Zeta Phi Beta. All the rest of you beautiful women.
Mhm.
Um, so for Kamala to be running for vice president with Joe Biden, it means a whole lot. When it comes to politics, it's been really tough for us, not just us, but just women of color in general,
Mhm.
um, and just women, you
Mhm.
know, women in of color after the fact. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's been a struggle for us. So it really shows uh, the times that we're living in.
Right.
Yes, it's unfortunate that we have the virus going on. Yes, it's unfortunate that we have the president that we have, but at the same time, it allows for things to be on a new horizon. Something for us to look forward to. The
Mhm.
dawn of the black woman. You
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
the power that we possess.
Mhm.
Just being able to capitalize in such a high capacity, it
Right.
means so much, and it shows a lot for the generation of my daughter, for
Right.
example. Um, it shows her that she can do whatever it is that she wants to do.
Mhm.
We is we always grow up, hearing our parents tell us you can do whatever you want to do,
Right.
but
Mhm.
having more examples of that nowadays,
Mhm.
you it's a beautiful thing,
Yes, it does. Mhm.
yeah, and highest possible office. You have Michelle Obama, the Obamas, that in itself was a humongous, and still is,
Yeah.
just the amount of influence that they had in office, and that they have now.
Mhm.
It shows little black boys, little black girls, that they can honestly be whatever it is that they want to be, including the president and first lady of the United States.
Yeah.
So I wish them well. I pray that everything works out in their favor come November,
Mhm.
and hopefully 2021. I mean, we can't go anywhere else but up.
Right. This is
Yeah.
this has been a historic year. I try not to speak negatively about things because I do feel like it's much more productive to be a glass half full person than a glass half empty person. But I do have to say that where we are right now in the world, and not just in our society, um, in the world is very pivotal. Not only, I mean, if you think about the year that we've had, and forget about what's going on with us personally. We lost a basketball hero in Kobe Bryant, and then we had the Corona thing going on, and then unfortunately we had the George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, so on and so forth. And the thing that I think is very interesting about where we are, Z, is that we have non-black people who have finally seen, basically on their phones, a murder of an innocent, of a helpless black man. And I remember having a conversation with a white person maybe like a day or two after the video came out. And the first thing they said to me was, Darius, what can I do?
Mm,
What can I do? And, it would have been very easy for me to pop off, but I did feel like this person was being sincere. And the first thing I said to them was, I said, listen, the number one thing that you need to do is not to be racist. And when you see it, you need to call it out. And I know that there's been tension all around. Following that situation, we had protest, peaceful protest, and then we had a lot of destruction. And what's happened is people have started pointing fingers. It's BLM, it's Antifa, it's all these different things. And I'm not a violent person, but I'm also a person too that right is right and wrong is wrong. And I think it's very important that us as Black leaders, Sandrina, we empower not just our peers, but our children and the generations coming behind us. And they need to know that, number one, like you said, you can do whatever you set your mind to. And you don't have to necessarily, like we say back in the day, take shorts in order to get somewhere. You can stand there with your chest out and believe what you believe, know what you're talking about, and go for it.
right.
And what I do like is that now we have a sense of unity, I feel. Now, everybody
Right.
can't go. Don't get me wrong. Everybody can't go, but we do have a sense of unity. And I think that if there is something that has come out positively out of the George Floyd situation and the other, terrible murders, is that I feel like is actually shaking our society to either come together and also recognize what's going on. And I hope that we can take these moments and not let it be just a moment, like they say, but let it be an actual movement. You know what I'm saying? Um, because these things are evil. And I don't necessarily get into the political thing, especially not on this platform, but I will say that that gentleman on Pennsylvania Avenue right now is not helping things. And I don't necessarily have to badmouth him. He does it for himself. And so, as far as I'm concerned, I'm interested in going forward, and I'm interested in helping my brother and my sister and people that are going in the same direction that I'm going in. And that's why this is happening right now with this podcast and potluck and all of that good stuff, because I feel like we need to help each other. A lot of times, and I'm just going to be honest with you, we don't play in certain venues because we don't fit the description, or we fit the description, if you know what I'm saying. And so
Absolutely.
yeah, we have to uphold and we have to uplift each other. And I don't mind saying that because I know that it's definitely true. But just to move along, once again, thank you for being here. And again, we have Zandrina Dunning, the Zandrina Dunning Experience, good friend of mine, singer, songwriter, artist, producer, all that good stuff. We're talking about just her career and what she's got going on and all of that stuff. Tell me this, Z. We have a few minutes left, okay? Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Woo, 10 years. I see myself doing what I'm doing, but on a larger scale across the globe.
Great.
Um, just continuing to influence people,
Hmm.
having people in my corner who believe in me, who I believe in,
Hmm.
uh, and just happy.
Right. Right.
You know,
Right.
that's the name of the game. Happiness, the pursuit of happiness.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And 10 years is a little while from now.
Yeah, it is.
I hope to be very successful and not have to worry about finances.
Hmm.
Um, just getting residual income from different streams.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, and having a settled mindset. At
Hmm.
the same time, still maneuvering and working.
Right. Right. That's excellent. Do you have any projects? I know we talked about the Aretha Franklin tribute, and I want you to plug yourself. Let's go. Give me what you're doing. What do you have going on? Tell us what to look forward to in the near future, and whatever else you can speak on. Tell us what to do and give us the contact information, how we can be a part of it, how we can support you.
Well, I mean, I'm living in a moment of a lot of meetings now.
Okay.
So the meetings cultivate, and hopefully 2021, if it's anything like I think it's going to be, I'm excited.
Mhm.
um I'm super excited for what's to come. I'm doing a lot of studio stuff right now, for different people's projects. I'm writing for different people. I'm writing my own material.
Great.
uh, yeah, I mean, I've been writing my own material for a little while, but as
Mhm.
far as a project, I haven't really had the time to sit down and focus just on that.
Mhm.
It's taken a little bit longer than you know than it has, but it's all good, because
Mhm.
I'm still working towards the goals, and just working with people that I love,
Mhm.
working with very talented people.
Right.
Um, this Saturday, actually, I had a hand in producing the Black Diamond Band, the Black Noise Band, and Seth G show.
Mhm.
That'll be at the Firefly Distillery this Saturday.
Right.
Um, Tickets for that, citypaper.com. October 16th, of course, that's the Aretha Franklin tribute. We're doing it again at the Bend. I have some Christmas stuff coming up with my students, so I'm excited about that. You
Mhm.
know, and singing background for Patrick Davis, who's an amazing singer-songwriter out of Nashville, Tennessee.
Mhm.
Uh, he put me in touch with Hootie and the Blowfish. We do a lot of stuff with them.
Great.
Um, so we're pretty plugged. I'm blessed to know
Oh yeah.
certain people, and by association, a lot of relationships. That's what this business is all about. Just who you know, and what you have to offer. And a good professional mindset. But people can reach me on Facebook and Instagram at the ZD Experience. Um, you can find videos, photos, contact information, all that's there. Uh, Latest news and information, everything that I have going on, all positive, thankfully.
Yeah.
I try not to post anything negative, and if I do, I turn it around to a positive, because there's been a lot of negative things going on this year, but the main thing is turning it around into and making it a positive. But yeah, that's what I have going on. Lots of stuff. Homeschool mom,
Wow.
all
Yeah, you're
that.
super full.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Z. Thank you once again for being a part of this. This is I guess, a dream of mine. As you know, I love to talk, but I also love to meet people and find out different things about people, especially people that I admire. And I was telling her before we got started, I admire what she's doing, and I just pray that she continues to go forward and go higher and higher and higher. So this has been great. Hopefully we can do it again. As you have more projects and things coming up, we'll be in constant contact. Let's continue to support each other's endeavors and continue to encourage each other. I promise you that when I take my pictures, I'll wipe off my lens first, make sure it's not smudged or anything like that. And I'm definitely going to see you later on this month for the potluck situation. Thanks again for having us. And once again, this is a different echelon. This is Darius Nolan. You can reach me at Darius Nolan at Facebook.com. And I am a different echelon on IG and YouTube channel, a different echelon. So that's a lot. You can always reach out to me. Please inbox me with your questions for Zan. I will pass them along to her. But even any ideas on topics that you guys want to talk about, Zan, you do the same thing. If you don't necessarily want to have to be on it, but you can just send some message to me, and I'll try to accommodate that. So anyway, thank you once again for being here with us. I appreciate you. Love you, sis. Keep doing what you're doing, and keep upholding the banner. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Right.
Love you too, and
God
happy to
bless.
be here.
Yes, ma'am. All right. I'll talk to you soon. Be well. Have a great day.
Take care. You too.
All right. Bye-bye.